Okay, so it looks like the little thing recording has started. Just popped up. I am Mary Song, and I teach English at Alvin Community College. And I just wanted to share how I have enhanced my classroom. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a tech guru. Um, there's a high chance you may know more about tech than me, but I just thought I'd share and maybe it'll help someone. I picked Weebly specifically because it's free and you don't have to spend anything to enhance your class this way. In fact, it has taken a lot of hassle out of using a Weebly website for my course because now, I mean, granted, nowadays nobody does it anymore, but there's no more printing handouts. It's just pretty much that's what my course website is just a receptacle for handouts. It's just that now it can be a little more fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and first walk y'all through my course website and just to show you what I have now, just so you know, because I don't want to misrepresent. This course website has been evolving for I want to say at least 10 years. So, if not more. I can't quite remember when I started it, but at least 10 years, I know. Um, and that's just because it's according to my son's age. I'm pretty sure I was using this before he was born, and he's 11 right now. So, okay, I should say at least 12 years. In any case, let me go ahead and screen share so that everybody can take a look at what I've got here. So this is my course schedule page. Now, I think that another thing that I want to bring up is, if everyone could help me out, and I'm not sure what kind of disciplines we're all involved in, but if you could put in the chat box what kind of classes you're teaching, what you might use this website for, and that way I can sort of cater to what your interests are, because this is obviously for a English course. This is our 1302 online course schedule, and just so you know, I've actually conglomerated all of my classes. So I actually have three other face-to-face brick and mortar classes, but I actually have them refer to this website as well. This doesn't always happen, but I happen to have all 1302 classes. So here is the schedule. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to generally just refer to my online class so that it doesn't get confusing. But this course schedule, I have a little key because, I don't have room to put everything up here, but this is my course menu right here at the very top. And I've got a home page, a syllabus page, a grades explanation page, professionalism points, short academic responses, our first, second, and third essay projects, our final portfolio, and then the schedules. And then I have a little course community page, which I'll get to presently. All of those pages are pulled directly off of the syllabus so that each section correlates with exactly what's in the syllabus. So I try, because I actually use three different interfaces. I use my Weebly website, I use Blackboard, of course, and I use Microsoft Teams. And I actually have a presentation later on using Teams. And so I always try to make sure that there's quite a bit of redundancy, just because, you know, I don't want my students to miss anything, but also I do try to keep it pretty streamlined in the sense of, parallel structures. So I tried to make this course website designed off of the structure of the syllabus so that there's a certain level of correlation that they can make. So I'm going to look at the chat here and see what we've got. We've got math, history, maybe history might be closer, business, yes, and other English classes. So I just want to walk through it first. The homepage, I lied, has nothing to do with the syllabus. It just has to do with a little intro. I'm going to zoom out just so that um, you can see it's like a my favorite stuff. I've got Ulysses and Full Metal Alchemist and Kafka, and I mean these are just because so often students will ask me, "What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie?" And so since my my post grad work is based on science fiction and cyberculture, I think the focus there is pretty obvious. So when my students say, "Ooh, anime," I can tell them, "Yes, that's actually what I studied for my PhD." So that's my homepage. I even have little links here that will go to just some little blurb, some interesting article I thought that would be fun for them to get a better idea of what my interest in that was for. So that's the homepage. The syllabus page, this is where we all start. And notice I get a chance in this age of meme dominance. This is my chance to throw in the memes that I like. So, I try to keep up rotating them, just to keep it more fun. Uh, you'll see throughout the entire course that I always try to like show my personality, make it very, very casual. Even my language is fairly casual. Not this page because this is the syllabus page. um, so here's a class info, just because it's the first page. These are my 5 classes. I have all of their syllabus PDFs that are accessible. So I'll point them here. Now, I also have these syllabi on their Blackboard accounts, right? So I just wanted to give them multiple places where they can get access to it, particularly since they're quizzed on it as well. Um, Here's a feature that I really like. This is it. Blackboard has it too, where they can scroll through the whole thing without downloading a single thing. This can be very helpful for students who might not have fast enough connection or might not have efficient enough hardware. And so this is where they don't have to download anything. I do notice that a huge population of my students do almost everything on their phone, which really frightens me. I had one student that came up to me and she was writing her essay on her phone, which explained to me why her paragraphs always tended to be so short. um, so I think we're getting a little better with that in terms of institutions providing the tech support that our students need, but it's still pretty predominant. Other than that, that is the syllabus. I do screenshots here and there, accessing Blackboard. I try to give them like little, visuals on how to get there, the pod, the various applications that, come with their ACC account. So this is kind of, it's handouts on steroids, right? Because we could never print out these color photos and screenshots, but what that course website does is it allows us to literally just screenshot anything we want and throw it on here. All right, so grades, again, this is just the breakdown, my fun little memes, the grading summary for the class. And let's see, it's been a while since I looked at this one. How to understand Blackboard grades. And then this is, because I'm like this, a chart of the entire course with the points broken down. Furthermore, this is, as you can see, I really enjoy this kind of stuff. A breakdown of the projects, project 1, 2, and 3, in terms of proportion to the whole semester, just for those of my students who like visuals, right? And then we've got professionalism points and short academic responses, which are the side things. Professionalism points, this is not necessarily a Weebly thing, but this is something that I thought I'd share, just because I get a lot of positive feedback. I use professionalism points as 150 points out of 1,000, like it said here, as a bank account for my students. And what it does is professionalism points is simply a point system in which my students, because I can't schedule my, final papers or deadlines in accordance or inconvenient deadlines with their other professors, I give them 2 to 3 days of leeway. So they can be late. It's still 10 points deducted, but in future assignments, they're allowed to collect those points back by turning them in early. So if they turn it in early, it's 10 plus. And this way, they all have a little bit of wiggle room. Also, I don't have to deal with every different kind of excuse under the sun because it essentially renders excuses irrelevant. I tell them I'm not a lie detector. I have no idea. And in any ways, it doesn't make a difference because, it could be for reals an emergency or it could not be. But at the end of the semester, the only thing I can grade on is what's been submitted. And so even now we're at the 4 week mark and I have some students who have depleted too many of their professionalism points. But this way on my grade book, I can see, is the quality of their assignments super high and are they just not able to deal with deadlines? Right? So how we work that out, of course, is case by case. Some students are just not ready for a college course. Some students, they had a life emergency, but this gives me a clear visual on where we're at. Now, if students have run down the professionalism points and their assignments are suffering as well, that's, yet a further indication of what to do from that point on. So again, so this is our short academic responses, project 1. Here it was making an argument of fact. I get to put a breakdown here, do a little explanatory blurb, and then I can insert sections. And I'm going to show everybody the back side of how this is all constructed. But I just thought I'd show you the front side of how I'm designing it. And, so that's project 1. Project 2 is a proposal. And again, we've got that breakdown and we've got a little blurb. This semester, I'm assigning my students to do a proposal on how to either change ACC itself or the school they're at or the city council or the state of Texas. But it's a specific committee that, I'm always, well, except for the state of Texas, that would be their district representative. And then project 3 is all about converting that into a multimodal form of what they just worked on in essay form. So that's the course, just so you have an idea of what's going on here. Let's go back to the schedule, and that is all laid out here. So it's grayed out when we're past that week. But now these are all screenshots of a Word program. A Word doc. And so for me, that's the simplest and easiest way to do it. However, when I show you the backside, you'll see how, you can construct to a certain extent. Weebly isn't the snazziest or the fanciest. And I wouldn't know what the paid Weebly is like because I don't have that one. But for what it offers, it's fine because no matter how I look at it, first of all, because I've been teaching over 20 years, it's still always going to be far more flexible than printing out pieces of paper. And so this is how I'm just putting my handouts. All right, so that was the cosmetic coverage of a Weebly website, but now I'd like to go backside. So backside is, and in fact, I had it open, but you know what? I'm going to close it back up because I just want to show you how to get there. So what you can do is just type in Weebly.com. And since I do it so often, it's automatic. Oh, maybe not automatic. So as you can see, I've got a couple pages here. I used to do a SAT test prep, but that's years ago. I just never closed it down. But I used to have 4 or 5 classes and it just got too bulky. So now all I do is keep revising the same one. So that's what I meant by this course website is not something that I do from scratch every single semester. All I'm doing is modifying deadlines, modifying syllabi, but this course website has been growing, and it's like a bread yeast starter. It's been going for years and years and years. But so what I'll do is I'll go into this current semester, and for some reason, these past 2 days, my computer has been very laggy. So I apologize for the, oh boy. Okay, there we go. So there's the site, and I just go into edit site. And again, it's the same, except now we see the backside of it. We see this whole construction site, so to speak. And here's all of my pages. So I can go to my various pages. I have quite a few that are hidden because I'll have some assignments that I put in and some assignments that I don't want to do for this semester. So here I've got a different SAR assignment, but I have here hide in navigation, which means it won't show up here. So they'll have no access to it. It's just essentially a hidden assignment. But this little plus sign is where I would start. I can open a standard page, a blog page, a category page, a product page, external page, non-clickable menu. I don't even know these options. So I haven't explored absolutely every option on Weebly. I literally just, use standard pages and blog pages. That's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and open a new standard page, and I just love that meme, but that's the default, but you don't actually have to have pictures. If you don't, you can always take the header out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna let's title it as Weebly Practice. And I'm gonna go ahead and possibly confuse my students with this page, because there it is. It shows up at the bottom. And then I go back to build. And if you grab a section, you can always add sections so that you've got these nice breaks. And then okay. So they all come out white, but what I'll do is I'll change the color so that you can see the difference between one section and another. And you can pretty much use any gradient of color that you like. And there you go. And if I just really like that shade, I can always hit move and copy it. And then I've got another one. Copy section 2, the same page. Oh, so laggy. So this is probably not my wireless connection. It's Weebly's not always this inefficient, but I have to warn you, every once in a while it does get bogged down. Maybe it has to do with how many people are on using the free site. But I would say 90% of the time it's not laggy like this. So it's fairly efficient, fairly smooth moving. Every once in a while, though, it will get a little bit slow. Does anyone have any questions so far? Any inquiries about features? I mean, I have yet to, show some more things, but while we've got the wheel of death going on, maybe um, we can squeeze it. Please feel free to jump in as much as you'd like. This is, like I said, the way I feel about this whole thing is I just wanted to join some educators and anyone who wants to take advantage of making a website. I find it really fun So for me, it's actually also my creative outlet. So this allows me to get to my students' assignments, but with a little bit of flair, throw in those memes that I really found funny the other day, or share my hobbies. Um, it's just a lot more room for some bit of me, so to speak. All right, so I'm going to try and go back again, and there it is. So now I can move it. So because this is what I like doing. I like hopscotching the colors so that if I can do it, move on this page down again. And so now I've got 4 clear sections with alternating colors. Um, we've got title font, which makes it nice and large. And I can also always go and use different font colors. So like I said, this is just an opportunity to just get your creative, outlet going. I'm just making stuff up at this point. There's a lot of really interesting ways to add graphics. So even though I took that, major header image out, I can always upload pretty much any picture I want. So I'm going to go to my ACC folder. And as you can see, I've already got a ton of pictures that I absolutely love. I'm going to put here one of my favorite movies. And you can always put them side to side and they get smaller or bigger. They fit as you call them. You can resize them. There's a gallery if you have many, many, many pictures. So this is where you just go to your collection and you click on all the pictures that you want your students to take a look at. These are all just random pictures, but why not? Let's just throw them all in there. Okay, so I don't know, that's like probably 15 pictures. And as you can see, there it 18 pictures, and it'll just show out in a gallery. The slideshow is very similar to the same thing. Um, Contact forms, I think many years ago I made quizzes out of the contact forms. And so, students, they're obviously for business or marketing purposes, but many of these features I used to like just converting them. I'll be honest, nowadays I've totally moved on to using Google Forms since Google Forms will collect everything in a beautiful little spreadsheet. And so I prefer using that. Um, Dividers, spacers, these are all graphics, but you've also got other bells and whistles like anything with this little lightning bolt is with premium. Obviously, it's something that they're going to want you to pay extra money for, which I've never done. The YouTube embedding is actually for free though, so I do use that. I use the file upload a lot, and that's because this is an English class, and rather than tear my hair out over MLA formatting, I always have my students go through a template. And so in that way, so let's go over to this page. Let's see. My annotated bibliography template is it's a nightmare until I walk them through it. So what I'll do is, actually a better one is their final draft because it's just your classic MLA formatted template. And what I do is I have them read all of this and their template is right here. So what I can do is um, I need to do is drop this in there and then upload the, oh, none of this is working. It's just decided not to work today. Hopefully, when you play around with this, it will, oh, there it goes. It's probably just too many pictures. And see, there's my file. I upload the file and I get this on the front end so that my students can download any, and it can be Word, it can be PDFs. Here it just showed up on my other screen. So let me push it over if I can grab it somehow. And so there's my Word template. This is the main thing that drives all us English comp instructors crazy is that works cited page with the hanging indent. And so we go through this in class multiple times. And this way I can grab it in the middle of class and we can work on it. Um, but that's also a huge help. One thing that I avoid doing nowadays is posting any of my students' information because um, this is a website that anyone can access. Now, you can pay premium to make it password only. So if you go to settings, um, there is a site password where you can protect it. But if you wanted that, you would have to pay extra, which, I don't think it's necessary because we have Microsoft Teams, that's security. That's a closed platform as well as Blackboard. So basically with those, I can keep everything on those platforms instead. And like I said, Weebly is literally my receptacle for those handouts that would otherwise get crunched into a backpack and never seen again. Okay, so I have three parts. Um, Part one was the cosmetic, part two was the backside, and part three was I wanted to actually walk through making one just to show you it's really not as hard as it looks. Um, Unless it doesn't look hard at all. Hopefully it doesn't. um, but just to show you how doable it is, you just now I'm gonna have to skip some things like opening an account, but I'm sure we know how to do that since we've all done hundreds at this point, right? But what I did want to show you is if you go here and you scroll down to the bottom, you can add a site. So this is how it would start. Do you need a store or a website? I always just click the website. Then you have hundreds and hundreds of templates to work with. Um, I generally like the business templates because the business templates tend to be pretty sectioned off and organized. I have a little bit of a science, I have a BA in science and biology. So I was trained in some contradictory ways. Um, so I'm going to just randomly pick not these big pictures, that something like this, just because big giant pictures, it's very hard to um, create sections that are like, as you can see, it's all pre-made for you. And now you can just replace the picture. So I picked this theme. I'm going to go ahead and start editing. And as you can see, we go backside. Oh, almost the most important and possibly fun part, creating your own domain name. You can name it just about anything. As you can see, my URL is right here, ACC Spring 23 English 1302 Professor Song Weebly.com. As long as you've got this Weebly in there at the end, you can name it anything as long as it's not taken already. Now, of course, if you want to take the Weebly out again, as Weebly wants us all, you can always pay for something. But here I'll just put like Weebly practice workshop template .weebly.com, see if it's taken or not. And as you can see, there's all of these possibilities. Wow. I just click the top one usually. And there we go. Oh, I knew they were going to do that. I missed something. Okay, let's not make it so long. Workshop, template, practice. All right, here we go. It's this one, the subdomain, the one that says free with Weebly branding on your website. So you just choose that one and you're ready to go. I haven't published yet, so I don't have to worry about my students seeing anything until I click that publish button. But this is probably the easiest. You can actually start from scratch if you'd like. But I always, use one of these templates just because there's just a lot of work already done. And the best part, if I don't like it, I can always just delete it. So I don't want a picture there. That's just too many pictures. I take it out, right? You can also, when you go to the pages themselves, um, there are various things that you can also change, like the fonts. So if you go to theme, change theme. This is like, oh, I don't like that theme. It's not working for me. Change fonts. I don't like this blocky looking. I like more interesting fonts like I like the fun ones. Say like Georgia. Georgia's fun. There are add-on apps. I don't use these at all, but there's always more room for fun and creativity with the thousands of apps that we have. So there's always that for those of you who are more handy with that. Um, but other than that, I would say that's what I had on the agenda. But I did wanted to open it wide for any questions on, you know, other things that we can do. Well, just to cover everything that I've got at the top of my mind, there was also, what did I say in project 3? I did mention it briefly, but you can um, embed YouTube videos. Unfortunately, that's all. But I get around it nonetheless by just always embedding links. So links are super easy as well, right? So if you go here, you can see that. I think it's on the research page. But I've got TED Talks and other resources. I'm a big fan of podcasts, so I have podcast links. Also, I have a 1301 site. And so when I've got a class like a 1302, and I know that I've taught some things in 1301 that I want to make sure that my 1302 students have, then I'll link them up to the 1301 class. And so this is the ethos, pathos, logos, review. And I have them always, you know, I let them access the 1301 as much as they want because now they've got my entire semester here that I may not have been able to teach them because they didn't have me, but now they've got my past course. They can sort of, explore what I did in my first English composition semester. And then there was one other one. Well, it was just another 1301 class deal. I lost it. I was going to let me look at my notes here. Oh yes, there was one last thing, which was the blog page. And the blog page I just started because in the first essay project that we're just finishing up, it was everyone's own essay, and the second project as well. But I tell them right off the bat right now, our third project is about presenting in whatever modality that you prefer. It could be a video, it could be a website, it could be podcast. And I do allow group work, right? Group collaborations, which just so you know, I don't know how many people loved group projects when they were students. I hated them. There's always someone that did everything and then someone that did nothing. So my group projects are always based on everybody doing the exact same amount of work. Everybody turns in their own work. It's just that when you're talking about something like a proposal, you can just, I always tell them you can just cover way more bases. There are way more resources with the more people on the same project. So I always try to encourage my students to get real passionate about what they want to propose, how they want to change the institution that they may be a part of. And so I just put this up, and I'm actually surprised that there's actually already a comment here. But this one was proposal brainstorm because we're just kicking off the second project. And so I had students post something, and it looks like I've got an initial post right here. So students can post. This is what it looks like. There's a timestamp. That's another great thing about technology, right? Assignments being late or early, practically moot just because it's all time stamped, right? So here she's giving her 3 suggestions, and I gave a little bit of a, direction, sort of here's what you can do. I hyperlinked their target audiences so they could go ahead and directly see who they wanted to talk to. And I told them a proposal is a human being that you are literally talking to. Now, my students always panic. They're like, do you mean we actually have to give it to these people? And I say, no, we're not ready for that. I don't want to scare my students. I always tell them I hope they do. And every once in a while, I do have students that say, I'm going to take this to the top. And that's precisely what I hope the project will do. And which is why I hyperlink it always to the actual people that they will be imagining that they're going to talk to, right? So here I've got Pearland ISD because I've got 3 classes based there, but I always tell my students to target the ISD that you live in, or the city that you live in. You're not forced, address a committee that has nothing to do with your life, right? Okay. I do think that I have gotten through my my notes here, and I did want to make sure that there was room for any questions or suggestions. Um, I have heard a lot, well, I guess we all have now, about the major AI tech modifications that are coming down the pike. So clearly, our whole way of doing all of this is going to change. So I almost feel like this is nothing compared to what we have coming down the line. But in any case, um, hopefully we have um, more resources. Yes, Thomas.
You
Mike.
may have already answered this question, but I want to ask if you use this for all of your sections, whether the modality be face-to-face, hybrid, or online.
Yes, I do. I do. I use it every time now. And I would say I tend to use it more as a reference page. I don't actually incorporate it as something that they're going to absolutely suffer if they don't access it. It's just that because with my online classes, I post lecture videos on Blackboard. But like I said, this is like the equivalent of those handouts. So even in the face-to-face classrooms, and every morning in a face-to-face classroom, I'm opening up the schedule. That's the first thing that when they walk in, they look at this, and the first thing they see is, okay, this is what's due. This is what we're going to be focusing on today. Um, I do notice that my online students obviously interact with the course far more than my face-to-face, but in any case, yeah, I use it regardless.
Just embedded into your Blackboard as well, so students can go directly.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. In fact, I'd like to show how I do that. I'll go
excellent.
into my Blackboard account, and I will actually open um, a face-to-face course. So let's see. Here's one of my face-to-face courses, and they've all got links to the course schedule. and they know that that's the course website. And so it opens as an external link. So the whole new page opens up and there's a schedule, but obviously they can navigate to the rest of the course website that way. Um, and then I also have their team's virtual classroom linked. But, you know, I always tell them you want to be visiting all three frequently.
Well, then I just have a comment, and that is that I really enjoy how you put your personality into the website, and that I think that's so important, that our students view us as human beings, and I think that if you can make a connection with them, and I think that's just an excellent way of doing it. So that was my comment.
Well, thank you very much. That is pretty much the absolute main reason why I love doing this is just so that it's just so much starter material for my students to look at this and be like, oh my gosh, did you watch that? Do you love it? Um, to be honest, this is one semester where I have a lot more memes in here. Um, but I'm usually using all of this copyrighted stuff because I know I'm not profiting off of it. So I'm assuming that's nobody's going to care. But yeah, this is the main reason that I love doing this is just for the visuals, the references to all the things that I love.
Great conversation starters, I'm sure. Is this Korra or The Last Airbender?
This is the last Airbender.
All right, thank you.
I'm halfway through Korra.
I haven't started yet, but I'm gonna get
It's
there.
pretty good. I love steampunk, so yeah, so that is honestly, does anyone have any questions, any comments? If not, I may, you know, wish you well. Hope you contact me anytime with any questions if you have any or suggestions. I'm always looking for new ways to communicate with my students, to present things in ways that engage them more. And ChatGPT is really exciting to me. I know it's causing a lot of stress for everybody, but I think that there's going to be a lot of great ways that it can enhance our classroom. I see that there. Um, my Oh, great! Thank you, Manuela. I'm glad I could be helpful.
Thank you.
Um, please know everybody that I'm always available for any moment of you know inspiration. So thank you for your time, thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best this semester.
Thank you so much.